Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Listening Tree. Really excited about today's guests, Jason Leinwand and Allison McDermott from the Oddfellows Playhouse in Middletown. They do a children's circus there. We're going to get right into it. They are community heroes. You're going to love this. And we have a special guest coming up, and then we have some Turkish love songs, a little traditional music for you. I think you're going to be surprised by that. You're really going to enjoy it. We put a lot of thought into this, but we got a great show for you, so let's get with it.
Um, okay, Allison, in your own words, why don't you tell me a little bit about the Oddfellows Playhouse?
Oddfellows is a very special place for me. I actually began circus. I'm a professional circus artist, and I began at Oddfellows Playhouse Children's Circus of Middletown. So I have been part of Oddfellows since I was 6 years old. I learned how to do circus. I became a counselor there. I worked as an artist, and I was able to grow and develop, not just as a performer, but also as a teaching artist, and hone my profession with Oddfellows. So for me, Oddfellows is a special place where you can learn and work with people and experience great joy in circus and theater and music. Whatever your passion is, it ties it all together and brings people together to create a lot of fun and sometimes a career.
Yeah, right. So Oddfellows is a youth theater in Middletown, and it's we actually just celebrated the 45th birthday that was supposed to be last weekend. But I know that it started off as sort of like this club. Some Wesleyan students began it. And I know hearing on the 40th birthday, one of the founders talked about it being a place where artists and teaching artists really worked in collaboration with young people. So it was a way for empowering young people through the arts to become performers and leaders and teachers and anything really. I mean, it was about confidence. There's a big component of social justice that Oddfellows also preaches. But for me personally, it was a place similar to what Allison said when I was a teenager, that was just a new home away from home. And I met people from other towns nearby, and we all had a common goal, which was putting on a show. So there's a lot of laughs in that, and there's certainly a lot of not laughs, I guess,
Yeah.
putting on a show. And then summertimes they put on this circus, which is designed to be for low-income families, affordable summer programming. But because it's the arts, it just affords so much more learning and so many more opportunities. And a lot of the people like myself and Allison who kind of grew up there, whether we were kids or I started when I was a teenager working there. But I'd say overall, Oddfellows is it's a place where community and the arts and education kind of come together in a very special way.
Now, I've never been inside. I can't believe I've been organizing poetry events and arts events and music events in Middletown for 30 plus years, that I've never thought of this. Silly me. Gotta collaborate. I'm down here. This is going to be a collaboration with the Buttonwood Tree, and I've been with them for 30 years. And this sounds great. So maybe we can talk about things in the future. But Allison, you're a circus performer, creator, and educator that works throughout New England, and you're currently the director of Advanced, am I getting this right? Advanced Circus Programming at the Children's Middletown, and there you serve in the capacity of the director of Circophony, a youth circle ensemble. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so Circophony is a youth circus ensemble. It started at Oddfellows a while back, and it was called the Traveling Circus Company. And it has morphed, it has a new name. It's a collaboration between Oddfellows Playhouse and Art Farm in Middletown. And we train circus, we create a show every year. In the past, we've traveled to different schools and the kids perform their show. This year we had a main stage production at the Morgan Theater at Oddfellows Playhouse. It was called Spysight is 2020. It's all about spies and surveillance and lots of fun, spooky stuff. And we were set actually to tour that show to Wesley School in Middletown before we went into our social distancing situation. But it's a group for teens 14 to 20, and it's a place where you can like do physical, like learn crazy physical skills like acrobatics, contortion, juggling. It's also a place where we can create, you know, like comedy, create like dance, like funny scenes. Like the kids put a lot of input into the shows, and it's a very collaborative, fun performance.
It's amazing what kids, where they find their expression, how innovative they can be.
They're phenomenal.
That's a great project. And Jason, you're a visual artist, designer, and teacher, and you collaborate with several children's projects in New York, and I imagine other areas during the summers. And you direct the Children's Circus of Middletown and a 5-week summer arts performance camp in Middletown. I'd love to hear about that.
Well, yeah, that's what Allison and I are working on now. That's the children's circus that Oddfellows runs. So our summer camp program, like I said, Oddfellows is usually a year-round programming where kids of all ages are in productions and theater classes and visual arts classes and now circus classes too. But that circus component really began with the summer program, the children's circus, which is now in its 32nd year. It's an institution in Middletown. Every summer in the early August, there's a huge show somewhere. It used to be in the early days at Powder Ridge, then it was at Palmer Field. It's been at Spencer School, McDonough School, Wesleyan. So I've been working there since 1997. That's kind of my first job ever after I graduated from Middletown High. And the circus was founded by Dick Wheeler, who's the executive director at Oddfellows, along with a whole slew of other artists that he worked with throughout the years from all over the world. And the circus now is like I said, it's just a summer camp program. It's a collaboration between the City Arts Office and Oddfellows Playhouse. So it's this very unique nonprofit and the municipality working as a team to create affordable summer programming for kids 8 to 15. And we just expanded it a couple of years ago back to also ages 5 to 7. But we do juggling and clowning and acrobatics and unicycling and puppetry and stilting and just kind of zaniness, and play lots of games, sing lots of songs, and put on a massive show at the end of the summer. So it's kind of the greatest summer job that there is.
Well, you hit on something interesting. You said all over the world, and the Oddfellows, let's give them a little kudos, man. Thank you, Oddfellows, for backing up this kind of, also hinted on municipalities. Now, when they partner with nonprofits, some really nice stuff like what you're doing can happen. But I'm curious, now I'm a Mason, so I understand how the societies work. Do you find advantages? Are they letting, does this go on? I guess my question is that other Oddfellow houses all over the world, because I know I've seen them before, and you guys have a lot of fun. Are you an Oddfellow, both of you? Are you members of the?
It was given the name because it was the Oddfellows building, from what I understand.
Oh.
The building, and for a bunch of clowns doing theater, Oddfellows really suits.
Yeah. So the Oddfellows themselves, I know a little bit about them. They are characters, and they would have loved it because they specifically just didn't want to get into any of that stuff, you know, just to have fun and just to be a little eccentric. I'm going to go ahead and say a little bit weird. And you guys are shut down. Allison, how is that affecting things?
Well, completely. I have been running a weekly Zoom fitness class for the older Circophony class. There's been a live hip hop class we've been offering this spring, but it's made a big impact. We haven't been able to do our weekly classes. When you show up to Oddfellows starting at like 3 o'clock, there's a stream of buses showing up, dropping off kids, artists. There's like a great energy to the building. So it's, you know, sad having our like building, you know, quiet, No one there. We've had to cancel, like we canceled our tour, we canceled a few productions. I know they did a live, it was called Midsummer Night's Dream. And they did a 4-part series of Midsummer Night's Dream, like on Zoom, which was a lot of fun, but it's very different from what we had been doing and how we did operate.
And maybe if you could talk about how the families are dealing with this stuff. Sort of the same question, but a little different. How are things going?
I have actually just called all the families of the participants of our children's circus to check in and see how everyone's doing, if they're familiar with the fact that we're about to do our program virtually. And, you know, I think everyone, you know, we're missing connection. It's great to have the online opportunities, but people are missing connection. I've talked to some families who have only children who like haven't seen their friends in months, and just how challenging it's been to be in that situation. And yeah, I think we're even excited to just talk on the phone. Some families that I work with every week, it's like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in months. So we're ready to connect again.
Yeah, and I would add to that, sorry. I would say that, you know, not having kids, but working in school systems and doing a lot. I work in Brooklyn, New York during the school year, and I come down here for the summer. And seeing a lot of the way that distance learning was working, it worked really well for some families, and it was really challenging for others. It took a long time to get the thing going. I think what we're excited about for us in the summer is that there isn't a whole lot of arts instruction going on in remote learning. It was really like kind of bare bones stuff. Like we have to get our reading and our writing and our math work done, and you can make worksheets and you can send the worksheets. I was doing a lot of work with kids making their own videos, and suddenly you see families joining into their video projects and these messages coming out and all the things that were on their mind. So I think for us in the summer, you know, we're excited to kind of like take lead now, and we get to show the parents what arts education can look like in the remote world. So it's a big challenge. It's not easy, but I think it'll be really fun, you know, and I think there'll be more, kids will respond in different ways. That's what we're hoping. And if we can just hook them in, and if they feel empowered to, you know, create on their own, then I think it's going to be a pretty amazing experience.
So I'm going to ask both of you this question, and this is a nice order of how we go, how we're doing here. And by the way, thank you. I'm loving this interview. I'm loving what you guys are doing. Usually I'm a bit of a knucklehead, but this is really good. Yeah. You want to hear one of my Turkish love songs? You kids gonna love?
Yes.
Yeah, no, serious. And I'm new to music, you know, but I'm not new to knucklehead.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my instrument. You ever seen one of these?
No.
No.
Okay, so the Turkish call it a call box, and here's my love song. This is for the kids, okay?
Okay.
Great.
Get serious with me, okay? No, this is serious.
I gotta get one of those things.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Off in cherry wood, laser engraved with a turkey.
Turkey.
I want. Okay, let's get serious here.
Yeah.
So let me, and there we go. You guys are going to be fun, and I want you to know we're new to all this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the listening tree. This was born after 30 plus years of doing poetry, and I'm definitely going to reach out to you guys to collaborate in the future. We'll wait till all this nonsense is over. But you know, I lost my train of thought. There we go. Have to learn new skills. And like what we're doing now with this electronics, is this challenging to you and what you're doing? So Allison, why don't you take that first, and then Jason, follow that up, please.
Yeah, it is challenging. It's different. I've always preferred live teaching. You know, there are a lot of like fitness opportunities online to be a teacher, and I've never chased them before because I just like the live experience. So there's been a lot of technology items to learn. There's like a lot to like learn about how to engage people when you're not like hands-on, especially as a circus instructor. A lot of what we do is hands-on. So having to like sit down and think about like, how do I break this down in a safe way where I can't be there and like show someone what to do or guide them through it safely. If I'm not there to show them the prop, you know, a lot can get lost on the screen. So it's been a challenge in that way. But I've also found it inspiring, like you said. I've had a little more time because I'm not outperforming. I'm not teaching all my regular live classes. So I've taken opportunities to learn an instrument, to like learn new circus skills that I never would have in the past because I just didn't make the time for it. So it's nice to like have a moment to open myself up to that and learn all about the digital world there.
This Jason, sort of the same thing. You just editing. I saw your performance where you were like editing yourself, swirling around and stuff. Is this something kind of you?
Yeah, I mean, I work in animation with kids, so I've taught myself a lot about movie making and video editing software, and I'm pretty well versed with most tech stuff. But this, of course, is still a challenge. But again, what I keep saying to people is, and I sort of what I had just said about you know, the arts and summer teaching artists taking the lead in remote learning. Being an artist, the best part about it is that it's rooted in problem solving, and everything that we do is about solving some problem that exists. Now, this is a big one, and it doesn't. I mean, luckily, I don't have to solve the actual problem, like from a scientific and medical point of view. But I think being an artist allows me to look at the situation and to think of myself as an instructor for young people, and how will I inspire them? How will I, you know, spark their imaginations? And they're so used to digital media. It's a big part of their world, so it's not so far off. So if you sort of like immerse yourself in visual culture and you see what's happening and just sort of apply it to your teaching, you can find really fun ways to engage the kids, and then let their responses guide you even further. So yes, it's a challenge, but artists like challenges, or I like, as an artist, like challenges. It just helps me keep moving forward, which is really an important part of the practice.
About a little bit about the listening tree. We were born, and this was going to lead into the question, but we were born out of this pandemic. And 30 years of poetry, as soon as this happened, as soon as this became like a thing in the US, I was telling the camera person, she wants to remain anonymous, I was telling Elizabeth, you know, that this changed everything. There is no more audience. I knew it right away. And I let it brew a little bit, and we started the listening tree. So I'm going to just try something totally different, you know, and it freed me up to be the true knucklehead artist inside of it. And I love what you guys are doing. So this is new for us. Right away, the idea that I had is, well, I'll just lock down the whole building, you know, and I presented this to Anne Marie at the Buttonwood Tree. Do you guys know her? You must know her.
Yeah, I mean, the circus has a really strong and long relationship with all the people from the Buttonwood Tree, going all the way back to Susie Allison and Stephen Allison. So Susie and Stephen were like the champions of the children's circus from day one. And when Stephen was the arts commissioner, or the city arts coordinator, he and I would work in tandem because he was my boss. I had to work with him. And John, their son, was in the circus years ago when Allison was still in the circus, actually. And when Susie passed, that was the first circus that they had not attended in its 30-year history. So we wrote a piece for them, you know, honoring them because they're just such amazing people. And then fast forward to Anne Marie, she was running a camp alongside the circus for many years. So the circus used to be a half-day program. So we would combine resources, and they would run like a arts, music and visual arts, and we would have the circus. But then we went full day. So the two didn't fit together as same as they used to. But yeah, we love everybody down there.
Suze, Allison, Susan Allison. So,
Yeah.
no, Susan, I guess I'll jump in here. How I ended up at the Buttonwood Tree is I was hosting poetry way back at Clicolo World every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Right? Susan came there and said, well, you'll be going to the Buttonwood now. And I said, no, I'm not. No. I said, no, it's not me. You know, I like Clicolo. She said, well, no, you'll be doing that from now on. And here we are 30 years later. And, you know, she dragged me down there. She asked me to write the introduction for her last poetry book. So Allison, left you out here a little while. What's your relationship with maybe Susan and the Buttonwood Tree and your experience there?
Well, I'm definitely more familiar with Stephen, but Susan just is like a legend, a Middletown legend. And, you know, any arts organization you go, like she's present. So I feel like she's a very big part of Oddfellows and the founders of Oddfellows and the folks who work there. And Stephen is just such a strong supporter of the arts, not just in job, but in as a patron. Stephen's there, if I'm making a show, he's watching it, or I'm sitting next to him, or, you know, so it's they're just an amazing family to have in our communities, supporting the work we do. Very grateful.
A lot of interrelationship between, you know, the various arts. Middletown is great for that. You know, it's not the case in every town in Connecticut, but Middletown, I keep coming back to. And I've been all over the place with what I do. I'm not here for self-promotion. Just go to lookknucklehead.com. You can find all my up there, probably a picture of a three-legged dog or something.
Well, I live in Vermont, and there are several bands and people who will send me a message. They're like, I'm playing in Middletown right now, you around? Or they know it as the oh, I played at the Buttonwood Tree. So it's kind of amazing to see the communities connect, and connections that I had no idea existed.
Yeah. Let's Jason, talk, and I'll ask you, Allison, the same thing. What's going on with the families? How are there concerns? Are they loving this? Are they missing it? What's going on with the families? What kind of support's there? That kind of thing.
I mean, Allison's been the one that's been calling all of the families that had registered. So, you know, registration for the circus opened up in February, March, and we had a good number of people, our normal families, and our big registration was going great. So all of those families have been contacted by Allison, and she reports, and I'll let her speak more about it, but that people are excited about the opportunities that we're trying. I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to. I think our message is we're going to try, and it's not going to be the same. It can't be, but it's going to be something else. And I think people right now just they want something. They need stuff. Like families. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I come back. I grew up here, but I come back every summer, and I live with a really, really dear friend and her family. And there's 2 kids here, which is maybe why you thought I had kids, because I always talk about the kids that I'm hanging out with here. Yeah, I mean, I'm an old kid, but I'm like a kid. Anyway, so the family here, I know that they're just excited. Like when I came, it was like every morning was Uncle Jason art time. And there's just been this kind of fun energy that they have been able to kind of play on for the first time in a while. Our hope is that our teaching artists offer that to a broader audience now. So we want to create situations where we inspire kids to go independently practice, independently learn and play, and then come back and report on what they did. And then we add new skills to that. And then they go independently play. It just gives everybody a break. It gives the kids a break. It gives the parents a break. So we're, that's our big goal right now. We're going to take it 1 week at a time. It's a free program, so there's no risk.
Allison, what's the experience? How's it going with the families? I know you told me you work with them, but how's it going with them? What's the feelings like? Are they scared? What's going on?
Yeah, I think, everyone is hanging in there is like the best phrase. It's just like everyone's making do, you know, everyone's trying the best they can to get through this. From how I've talked to people, I think they're excited to have an opportunity to do a program like this. I think people are sad that it's not, like, I can speak to my experience as a kid, and I think a lot of the current campers feel the same. Like, there's an excitement to come back to this camp. I used to sing the songs on the school bus. We used to talk about, like, our favorite counselors or favorite games or what skill we wanted to learn. And so I think there is like a sadness to losing that. And, you know, the teenagers that I teach during the school year via Zoom have all been like, we're hoping circus, you know, prom was canceled, like graduation's canceled, like we're hoping this thing will happen. And, you know, so I think there's a sadness, but there's an excitement to have something, like to see your favorite teacher, to see your favorite counselor, to have interaction. That's exciting. I think people are grateful for the flexibility of the program. In a regular program, we kind of require that you're there every day. We're making a show. With this program, there's flexibility. Like, as families are all home now, you never know when like a schedule is going to change, or you need to take care of someone, or you need to like deal with your like cat running around. So like having flexibility in this program of like, okay, today won't work, but we could pop in tomorrow and do this. Like, that's been, I think, an excitement for families that they can like have this like opportunity, like wealth of classes every day to join in.
And, you know, we reach out. The purpose of our show is to reach out to community heroes. So right now, you two are community heroes. Thank you. Do you have a puppet out there, Jason? You have anything handy? You got some stuff?
Yes. Well, first, I have my eyes, you know. But I'll introduce you to Dr. Smarty Pants. He's the smartest man ever. This is Dr. Smarty Pants.
I saw him. Hi, Dr. Pants.
Hello. I'm proud. I'm so excited to be here. I've read every book I've read every poem that the Buttonwood Tree has ever read out loud. I've read every book.
Then you've read some of mine and Susie's.
Oh, of course. I've memorized it.
Of course. Have you get to meet Susie?
Me personally, I've met everyone that ever has existed, for I know everybody. Yes.
I saw you time travel, right? Is that correct?
Well, it's a secret, but I'll tell you this. It is true. I have just unlocked the secrets of time. It's very simple, you know. You just use lemon and rosemary, a little bit of chicken, and there you go, time.
Those three go very nicely together.
Yes. Anyway, I must go back to college. I have lots of reading to do. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yes.
Allison.
Dr. Smarty Pants.
Oh, Dr. Smarty Pants. Allison, you have some silliness for us, or some artistry or something?
Yes. Well.
You're getting a lot of applause, which you can't see from Elizabeth over here.
I have my vintage telephone that I keep nearby for when I take important phone calls. So right here. And they just told me that I have some amazing artwork. Hold on. This is from a Brooklyn famous artist.
Oh.
My office. It's fortune work. And yeah, this is very special. His name is Jason. He's actually on this Zoom call right now.
Met Jason.
Yes, this Jason. So I keep this by my desk for inspiration. It says, it's better to be approximately right than precisely wrong. Very important.
It is very important. And Jason, you do something on Instagram with your art. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what Allison was just showing. So I have a daily fortune art project going on. So every day I make a 4x6 like psychedelic space like drawing about consciousness, but it's all based on fortunes from fortune cookies, which I collect. So I started the project about 3 years ago, and today I made number 1,110 of the series. So, yes.
Can we buy this artwork? Can we support you?
Yeah, all my artwork is it's on my Instagram, which is @Leinwand, my last name, Leinwand. And I sell them. There's only handmade originals. So every day I post in the morning when I finish it around 8:30 or 9. And the fortunes, it's all about cheap art, because cheap art saves the world. So they're $25, and I'm in Middletown for the next month and a half. Otherwise, it's shipping from New York City.
Well, there you go, Middletown. Support him there. Allison, and you have a page. What's going on with your stuff? How can we help you?
Well, you know, a lot of my work is like in live performance. So I write some shows for Oddfellows. I've written a couple of my own circus performances. And yeah, I think I'm kind of trying to think about like, where does this leave someone who mostly performs in like crowded venues? And how do I adjust? I've done a lot of at-home handstand training and juggling and whatnot. And yeah, so I'm just hoping to have a space. And if I don't, then I might be thinking about how do I put it on screen?
We'll start to round the corner on this interview. Thank you again. But shout out to you. I want you each to shout out for some local heroes that have touched you during all of this. Jason.
I mean, in terms of local heroes, for me, it's always Dick Wheeler, who runs Oddfellows. And he's been back at the helm for a couple years now. But even before that, I mean, he provided me the opportunity years and years and years ago, over 20 years ago, to step into a room as the teaching artist at the circus. Never had experience teaching, just was a creative person. He opened this door that I'm still walking through it to this day. And not just him, but others at Oddfellows. I mean, I know this show, you know, we're representing Oddfellows, but the people who came before us, who taught us this thing, who showed, I wouldn't even say they taught us, they brought us along with them. It was a collaborative ride always. It was never like, this is how you do it. It was like, let's do it together. So Oddfellows for me is that place, and everybody there, but Dick particularly. So yes, shout out.
Yeah, and I would second that shout out. Same as Jason, like every opportunity I've had, I finished high school, I went to college, I got a quote unquote real job for a while, and learned that was not what I wanted to do. And it's because of Dick Wheeler and Oddfellows and Art Farm that like I was afforded a ton of opportunities to teach as an artist, to learn, to like perform. Like my whole trajectory started in Middletown and at Oddfellows and Art Farm, and they've like carried me along the way. And even now through this pandemic, you know, Dick is the one like, I think it's time for you to teach a class. Like, hey, we have some office work that needs to get done here. We need to reach out to families. We need to like, you know, contact the city and figure out how to make this program happen. You know, it wouldn't be possible without someone really pushing for this to like happen. So I'm very thankful to them. Yeah, we do a lot of, you know, acrobatics and juggling, and we have an environmental show called Circus for a Fragile Planet.
I love it. We'll talk about that another time. I've taken up the habit right now. One of my latest hobbies I find very creative is I'm here in Litchfield and there's a lot of water over here. So lately my greatest, and I don't recommend this, kids, okay? Don't get any ideas, but rescue snapping turtles, big ones that are trying to lay their eggs on the roads, because the roads get hot and they have to be on there. And that has really been, yes, that's very creative. Very creative. If you're over 18, I highly suggest it. Jason, maybe juggle some babies or something.
Yeah.
But Side, and you know I'm just joking. Snapping turtles are dangerous. Let's not mess with them. I found that out.
We only create our animals out of cardboard.
Yeah, and
at
paper
our
mache.
circus. Yeah.
Oh, they don't bite. They're just, yeah, they're biodegradable.
Yeah.
We did have a very talented circus dog one year at our show at Children's Circus named Bonzer. Do lots of tricks.
Message of hope right now, I think, is that you know, as dark as some of this is, both, you know, health-wise, politically, this is the divides, the racial stuff. I think that in these moments, and again, I always harken back to the arts because that's my life, and I'm blessed because of them. The arts. This is when the arts thrive. This is where artists and voices are heard. So as rough as it gets, if you just, you know, stop yapping and stop yelling, if you listen, you'll hear that hope, and you'll hear that resistance, and you'll hear that future. And it's mostly coming from artists. And if you're really lucky, it's young artists, it's kids, you know, and they're the ones who we work with, that we inspire to be like, you can be weird, you can be silly, you can be confident, you can be assured of your voice, and say what you think needs to be said, you know, caring about people. And so, yeah, the arts, and that's it. That's the message of hope. Believe in the arts.
Yeah, and I feel the same. The arts is a way to create stories and like share with people your worldview, and a way for people to like take in like your story and feel empathy and learn about people. And so I think that's something that's so important now more than ever, with everything going on in our country and world, is like to learn and to share and to like take in other people's experiences is the most important thing, so we can move forward together.
That's great. And, you know, my message of hope is that we need to value people like you in our community, and not just the arts. You know, I think it's time that we see the value in the everyday mundane. And you guys now, official community heroes, work with you guys in the future.
Yeah, love to.
Great. I'll bring in a fresh snapping turtle, a big 40-pounder. You know, they're great at social distancing, by the way. Listen,
Well, that's what we say about stilt walking. If you're 6 feet tall, you have no problems.
see, you just never know. You just never know. How do we sign up? How do we get involved with the circus? How do we help out? What's the best we can do? Jason and Allison.
So the circus registration is live on oddfellows.org. You can follow the links there. There's a little button right on top that says circus registration. The whole schedule for the first week is up and available for signups. We still have plenty of space left. The best way to help is to sign up or spread the word. This is not just for Middletown, it starts here, but the more people we have involved, the happier we are, and it does good for the town, it does good for Oddfellows, and it does good for anybody who's a part of this. It's arts, enrichment, summer learning. We have things, a wide variety of things to explore, but oddfellows.org.
Mm-hmm.
Allison?
We also have an Instagram, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Facebook. The artists have been making a lot of like goofy videos about what you might expect for the summer. We've posted our class schedule. So if you know a young person, or like if you have family or friends with like kids and they're not sure what to do, or like you think this might be great for them, like send along that information. And the variety of what we're offering, it's vast, from circus and like movement to like juggling and manipulation to like music to media. There's so much. So there's really, I think, something for everybody. So just, yeah, spread it high and low to everybody.
You accept donations, don't you?
Yes, we do. Our spring appeal is happening right now. It's like, I think through the end of June. So we would.
How do we do that? What's the information for that?
So you can go onto the website. If you go to oddfellows.org, you'll see a bunch of places. It'll say spring appeal, donate now, lots of donate buttons. So click any one of those and help support our cause. Keeping a building like Oddfellows open and like, you know, trying to keep artists paid and provide this programming, it does come at a cost. It's worth every penny, but you know, we love to keep doing this for kids. So,
but you guys, this is a career, right? This is bread and butter for you guys. This is no joke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Allison and I are both teaching artists, and you know, artists. Allison's a performer. I do my visual arts, and this kind of work is you hustle. You have a job with this organization, and you teach for this organization. Allison travels to many different states in the Northeast. I've been pretty lucky that I've been grounded in Brooklyn for the past 10 years or so, but I've always had Oddfellows as my summer gig, and it's a creative world, and it's super fun, and there's a lot of opportunities for it. But certainly with what's happening now and the shutdown of schools, teaching artists particularly have been hit pretty hard because they're not essential to the school programming. A lot of the funding has dried up. So finding work where artists, and you know, usually it's local artists who can collaborate with young kids in the school system and in organizations like Oddfellows, it's hit upon pretty hard times. So, you know, to go on my message of hope about the arts, that happens through initiatives like we have right now. And super grateful for the city of Middletown to help us in this moment and support us in that way.
Yeah. There was a day in March, like I think a 2-hour period where like 2 months of work canceled in 2 hours. And it was like a very like strange like experience to like just email after phone call saying like, oh, that's not happening. This event isn't happening. A lot of which, like this program, we start planning very early. And I do work with a lot of circus organizations in New England, and it's been a lot of work for like the people like Dick Wheeler of the world to like keep programs going, keep trying to like support their artists. And I'm very like amazed and impressed every day the people who run organizations and like how hard they're working to like, you know, support their artists. And but yeah, it's constant and it's very challenging.
We can support the Playhouse other than just June. Is that correct? I mean, we can do this all year, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, we're hoping the fall, maybe we'll get to do things live and people could come see a show again. But you know, we take it day by day.
Well, out there, listen, world out there, if you're watching the show right now or in the future, support these guys. You guys are doing a great community service. I'm really happy to have met you. Elizabeth, her prop with you. It's a paper towel.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're both so very interesting and just dynamic people. And your love of the arts is really inspiring. And I'm sure you both know this. It's just sometimes it can be really challenging. You know, we sort of hinted on that too towards the end here. It's not easy, is it?
No, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy or not. What I love about it, and one of my favorite thing about being an artist is that it's a lifelong practice and a process, and it never ends. No matter what level you reach, you know, top or bottom, it's just a constant something that you cultivate. So if challenges are something that make life not easy, then yes, this is not easy. But if you enjoy those kinds of both intellectual, spiritual, and emotional processes all happening at the same time, if you like that, then it's not a challenge. It's amazing. It's amazing.
When you love what you do, when you like, I love the community that I work with. I love, as Jason said, the practice of creating art. And like I'm a movement artist, so like using my body, like training, doing handstands, like creating things, you know, I love doing that. And when I had my quote unquote real job way back when, you know, it was hard to wake up at that like first alarm in the morning. And now, you know, I just get up, I'm excited, I'm ready to go every day because I truly love what I do. I love who I work with and the communities I support, and that makes life really sweet, even when things are challenging.
Well, you guys are really stepping to the plate. One more time, Allison, just go with that. What's the web pages again? Just to remind people.
Oddfellows.org.
Oddfellows.org, and from there we can find everything. And shout out to Art Farm, man. You guys are great too, and thank you. Any last minute messages, Jason and Allison?
No, just thank you so much for having us on. I think that you guys, I mean, when community supports community and we all come together, that's why I agree. I love Middletown for that. I grew up here. I don't live here anymore, but I come back every summer to give back to the place that gave me what I gave. So when you guys were emailing back and forth with us, it was just something that felt really good. And having just gone through it, it's fantastic to build this communication and collaboration and supporting one another in that way. So thank you.
Allison, we'll end with you, Allison.
Thank you so much for having us, and come check out our camp. We've got so much fun stuff happening there. We'll see you, what is it, 1 week? Like next.
Yeah,
Monday.
July 6th.
Yep.
Yes.
Can't
Yes.
wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to check this out. Thank you so much. You guys were great guests. This is a new expression for me after 30 years of poetry and music and Turkish love songs. I got some knucklehead stuff, but you guys are great heroes. Thank you so much for participating in the listening tree and taking your time. Listen, it's valuable. We appreciate you out there. Keep it up. You guys are angels doing your stuff, okay? Big, very important stuff. Thank you both from the bottom of our hearts here. From the listening tree, be a nice collaboration coming. If you want to reach out to us anytime, we're going to share your information and get involved with what you do.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.